In today's Leeds news, weekend results, this week's Loan Watch, Aaronson tough time continues, keeper trained at Leeds, and Byram impressed teammates. Morning folks, Jay here on the 25th of September, Monday morning after a fantastic weekend for Leeds United, and as I said in the match review, which is available on the channel if you want to see that, probably Leeds' most complete performance of the season, which was excellent to see right across the board, against a side that will probably be somewhat competitive in this league. You know, Leeds have had good results against Ipswich and Hull, who were ahead of them in the table as well, and now adding this to Watford to it as well. Watford and Leeds are pretty close in the table before that win, so Leeds move into the playoff positions, up to 5th temporarily, then back down to 6th, but still in the playoff positions and closing the gap on the top two at a very good stage. Plenty of games left and plenty of time. I want to just shout out a man called Alex Thorpe before I get into this. There's some graphics that start this show and that you'll see for Loan Watch that Alex has designed for me. Can't thank him enough. Really appreciate all the support you've given me, Alex. So massive shout out to Alex for all the help he's given me with the graphics on the channel and the intros and all that kind of stuff. And he's also helping me out with my audio levels as well for the intro. So people who are worried about the loudness of the intro, that's been fixed. So massive thanks, Alex. We'll get into this and we'll start off with the weekend's results. And we'll start off with the Leeds ladies who winning run came to a bit of an end with a 1-1 draw against Charlie women's team as well. Leeds, Katie Astle had given Leeds the lead, a 1-0 lead in that game, but Charlie did come back and equalise in the 69th minute. It's their first draw of the season. Leeds women's team still going through a bit of a transition, still no manager in place, and still squad recruiting going on for that team as well. Positive things to come, I've no doubt. They've been doing really well this season. The next trip is Peterborough up next in the first round of the FA Women's National Cup, and that will take place at the weekend as well, so that gives them a little break from the league and a chance to focus on the Cup. Moving on to under-21s, they lost 3-2 away to Reading. Leeds were 3-0 down at half-time, but goals from Chris Moore and Charlie Allen gave Leeds hope in that game. Charlie Allen's goal coming in the 90th minute. Unfortunately, Leeds just running out of time to get a result in that. A poor first half from the under-21 side, or at least not a clinical first half for the under-21s, and put them in that position. Chris Moore captained the side. It was a strong enough side. Darko JB was in the team. Lewis Bate was in the side. Under-21s have started the season really, really well, so they'll be disappointed with that result away to Reading, but it's a competitive league, and I hope they can bounce back from that in this week's fixtures. They have got a game on Thursday against Olympic Nice in Ellen Road. Tickets are available for that at leedsunited.com as well. If you want to go check that out, that could be an interesting game to have a look at as well. But more on that, hopefully, before the end of the week. We're working on something. Hopefully before the end of the week. Under 18s, they drew 1-1 with Newcastle at home, going behind early in that game, but a 90 plus 5 minute equaliser from Louis Perry gave Leeds a draw in that game. Perry just continues to score goals no matter what age group he's playing at, under 21s or under 18s. He's been, under 17s even, he's been fantastic. Continues to bang in goals. Definitely a player to watch, and currently living up to the hype that he came down from Scotland with. So excellent one there. I did say that the teams had all started the season on fire and then draws aplenty and defeats the weekend. Unfortunately, should have said a word. Shouldn't have said anything. Should have known better. Let's crack on and get into the Loan Watch. Luis Sinisterra was an unused sub for Bournemouth as they lost 3-1 to Brighton. Jack Harrison continues his recovery from a hip injury, and he played for Everton's under-21s this weekend. Sonny Perkins was not in the Oxford squad for their win at the weekend. No information on whether it's an injury just yet, but possibly something to do with that. Sam Greenwood was 69th minute substitute for Borough in their win over Southampton. Mark Roca withdrawn in the 60th minute for Betis in their 1-1 draw with Cadiz. A similar pattern starting to emerge for Mark Roca after a very positive start to the season. Robin Koch played 90 minutes for Frankfurt and will be happy to see a 0-0 draw and a clean sheet for him against Freiburg. Max Forward played 90 minutes in Gladbach's home loss to Red Bull Leipzig. Cody Drama has 90 minutes under his belt again for Birmingham City at the weekend. Rasmus Christensen played 90 minutes for Roma in their 1-1 draw with Torino, picking up a yellow card in the second half in that game. Diego Llorente also playing in that game and clocking up 90 minutes as well. And finally, Brendan Aaronson started the game for Union Berlin but was withdrawn at half-time, and not a clear situation on that one either, but we'll get into that now. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about Brendan Aaronson. We did mention last week he was called out for some criticism by the German media for his performance against Real Madrid. That has continued into his league campaign this week, and it's not going particularly well for Aaronson right now. Aaronson was not expected to start the game for Union Berlin, but due to an injury to Alex Kroll, he was brought in at short notice to start the match, but it didn't last particularly really long for Aaronson, withdrawn at half-time as they were 2-0 down to Hoffenheim. He is called out again for lack of robustness and lack of strength, but the main reason the German media have called him out was his miss before Hoffenheim took the lead. He was given an opportunity in a central area, which was labelled as a pretty easy chance, and he put the ball wide. He has been struggling over the last couple of weeks at Berlin. They said that it wasn't surprising that he was hooked at half-time in that game, so it looks like it could be back to a spell on the bench for Aaronson as he looks to continue to rebuild himself in that team. Tough one for him. It's been a tough couple of weeks for Aaronson since his suspension, so he did start particularly well, kind of gone off the boil a bit since then, so it's been tough for him. And people keep asking why we're covering players that aren't at Leeds anymore. They're still Leeds United players, and we're going to cover all news until they're not Leeds United players. Aaronson is expected to return to Leeds. He's one of the few players that is expected to come back, so that's why. Let's move on to some information that's come out about pre-season and Leeds' goalkeeping situation. And Joe Lumley, not Joanna Lumley, the other Joe Lumley, the goalkeeper, spent time at Leeds during pre-season, according to Phil Hay. Phil Hay said that the player joined up with Leeds for pre-season before he finalised his move to Southampton. Leeds were in a situation where Illan Meslier was expected to leave Leeds, and Angus Kinnear has confirmed on the Square Ball podcast that Leeds rejected offers for the player north of 20 million. Darlow came in, was expected to come in as Leeds United's number one, with Meslier expected to Leeds. Leeds had a possible opening for a number two, or at least competition with Christopher Klassen, and Joe Lumley was viewed as a potential option there. Leeds were having a look at him, and he was given an opportunity to impress Leeds during his time there. Phil Hay has done a long read piece in The Athletic today on this situation. It's worth checking out, and on Sam Byram as well. Some really good pieces there today that are worth going and checking out. Meslier did stay at Leeds, even though it wasn't expected. Darlow has become the number two, and Joe Lumley moved on to sign a 1-year deal with Southampton after his release from Middlesbrough. He now has to compete with Alex McCarthy and Gavin Bazzuno up there for a spot in that team. But Leeds were covering their base. Lumley was a decent enough backup goalkeeper, I suppose, but it's hard to argue that Leeds are not in a stronger position now. Meslier is number one, and Carl Darlow is a very, very strong number two for Leeds in this campaign, so great to see that as well. And then finally, moving on, let's talk about Sam Byram. I think we probably should, after the weekend that he's had in the start of the season that he's had. He has been absolutely exceptional for Leeds so far this season when he's been asked to play. Considering what happened when he came in initially, he's got 151 appearances for Leeds now, despite an 8-year break. He scored his first goal for Leeds since his last goal, which was for Leeds. He said in the press conference himself that he only seems to be able to score for Leeds, having gone to Norwich and West Ham and not scored for either of those two sides. Well, Phil Hay, as I said, has done a long read in The Athletic today on them, and there's some really nice pieces in this. Byram, when he came back to Leeds in pre-season, Leeds were very, very clear to point out that Sam Byram was not on trial with Leeds and was only training with the club until he got his fitness levels right to find another club. However, it appears that his performances in training impressed Leeds to a point where he did get offered a contract. It basically states that injuries to Junior Firpo and question marks over Leo Hjelde at the left-back position, and Leeds struggling to recruit a left-back at that time, gave Sam Byram an opportunity to play in some pre-season friendlies. But it also says in the article is that the staff and the players were impressed with Sam Byram's ability and his poise in the team. And when you look at what he's done since he's come into left back position, being naturally a right back, he's probably the best left back in the league currently. Byram's been exceptional for Leeds at left back. I mean, no winger has had the better of him 1v1. Again at the weekend, he just looks in a one-on-one situation. Tom Ince, who's a decent winger, struggled to get past Sam Byram and was withdrawn at half time, and then his replacement struggled to get past Byram again. He's getting involved in plenty of creative options as well on the left-hand side of the pitch, coming as an inverted fullback, which is great to see as well. Giving Leeds lots and lots of options, and he does pop up then with a fantastic header yesterday as well. But basically, the whole article goes on to say that because of how he performed in training in pre-season, how he impressed the staff and his teammates, and how he did in the games, it was an easy decision for Leeds to offer him a 1-year deal, and was pretty much viewed as a free hit for the player. His injuries were a concern, only being available for 50% of the games that he could have played in the last 9 seasons. Leeds, I'd be careful with him. He's had one minor knock this season, a small adductor injury, which a few players have had, which is usually down to changes in training regimes as well and intensity. So, but Leeds are managing his minutes very carefully. We saw Jamie Shackleton play left back during midweek as well against Hull. So Leeds will be careful to make sure that he doesn't play 2-3 games per week, and you will see him drop out of the team at times and come back in. But very much probably the first choice left back. A week break now before Leeds' next game gives him a chance to recover, so we should see him start the game again against Southampton the weekend. It's been a good week. It's been a really, really good week. 7 points from from potential 9 points. You could look at the Hull City game now and say, had the red card not happened, Leeds could have gone this way. You take into consideration no Jet Spence, no Willie Gnonto, and no Joe Road in the squad the weekend, and still managing to get a 3-0 win over Watford is a fantastic result and shows the strength and depth that Leeds have right now. It's great. If you want to see the match review, it is up on the channel there as well. You can check that out if you want to get a bit more detail. It's not long, it's about 6 minutes. Keep it short. So, and that's going to be it for me today, folks. Hoping to have some news about some other stuff that I'm trying to do with the channel this week. I will get back to you as soon as I get some information, hopefully tomorrow on this, and let you know what's coming later on in the week. Have a great day. Enjoy the result. I hope everyone's having a great day at work after 3 points for Leeds. And again, open to the playoffs. Very positive stuff. I'll see you tomorrow for more Leeds news. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.